What's up, people? It's Cami TP, Totally Politics, and today I'm doing a vid on the governor and Senate races in Arizona. I'm covering this race because it's such a key race in Arizona as a swing state. There's a lot going on in this state's primary, and it's August 2nd, and so just a week, so let's dive in. The Republican primaries for governor. The Republican primary in the Arizona governor's race is very tense. This primary is basically classic versus MAGA. There were even a few that withdrew from this race due to how unpopular they were from the race being so tense. These include Kimberly Yee, the state treasurer, who is now running for re-election, Matt Salmon, a former longtime congressman, who was a GOP nominee for governor at one point, as well as Steve Gaynor, who was a longtime businessman, who was the GOP nominee for Secretary of State in 2018, but lost to Katie Hobbs, who I'll get to later. Two business people, Scott Neely and Paula Tuliani then. Two main ones, and who I mean the race being MAGA versus classic, is Kari Lake and Karen Taylor Robson. Now, I will get to these candidates. Kari Lake is the MAGA candidate. She has Trump's endorsement. She is like Trump in many ways. She's basically a female Trump. She is like Trump, as in before this, they both had no political experience. Kari Lake was famous in Arizona, while Trump was famous everywhere. Trump was a big businessman, and Kari Lake was a former #1 rated news anchor. Kari Lake believes that the 2020 election was stolen and wants stricter border policies and wants to finish his wall. She has spoken at two of his rallies this year, both of which were in Arizona. She's even called for imprisonment of Secretary of State Katie Hobbs in Arizona. Both she and Trump are former Democrats. She voted for John Kerry in 2004 and Obama in 2008. She's had many MAGAs endorse her, including the My Pillow guy like Mike Lindell, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn, ex-NYC Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar, or Andy Biggs, one of them, I don't remember which one exactly, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, North Carolina Congressman Matthew Cawthorn, and General Michael Flynn. Karen Taylor Robson is the classic Republican in this race. She is on the Arizona Board of Regents and is endorsed by incumbent Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, who MAGA doesn't like, as well as ex-VP Mike Pence and ex-New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. It looks like the days of classic Republicans like Mitt Romney and John McCain are over. This race and many others will prove it. Kari Lake is ahead of Karen Taylor Robson by double digits. There were rallies for both recently. Trump hosted one for Lake, and Mike Pence hosted the one for Karen Taylor Robson. But I think Doug Ducey and Chris Christie also spoke at that rally. Both Trump and Pence seem to be prepping for 2024 presidential runs. They seem to have gone their separate ways, and Pence has tried to distance himself from Trump since leaving office, and neither of them have talked since he left office. Especially if January 6th and Pence saying he had no constitutional authority to overturn the 2020 election results in January 6th. They have endorsed different candidates in races across the country. Pence stomped for Brian Kemp, the incumbent governor of Georgia, while Trump endorsed his challenger, David Perdue. Trump has even confirmed that if he's the GOP nominee in 2024, Pence will not be his running mate. Now for the Democrat side in the governor's race. I was talking about Arizona Secretary of State Katie Hobbs earlier. Now is the time to talk about her because she's running for governor. She was elected for Secretary of State in 2018. She will likely be the Democrat nominee for governor in this election. Some would consider her more qualified to be governor than Kari Lake, since she has political experience unlike Kari Lake. She was Secretary of State when the 2020 election happened. It's funny that in the 2018 midterms, Arizona elected a Democrat senator, Democrat Secretary of State, and re-elected its incumbent Republican Governor Doug Ducey, who was endorsed by Trump, and now MAGA hates him. There's another Democrat running for governor. It's Marco Lopez Jr., who was a chief of staff to U.S. Customs and Border Protection and the ex-mayor of Nogales. A state representative, Aaron Lieberman, dropped out of the race as well. Given that Roe v. Wade was overturned, that could have an impact on this state's gubernatorial election, since abortion is now in the states. Abortion, though, is not the number one issue to Americans. It's the economy. But this issue is getting voters to the polls for sure. Given that Katie Hobbs has political experience and Kari Lake doesn't, that could sway down the middle voters to her, but Arizona is a purple state, and it's a red wave year, so it could go either way, really. Trump won in 2016, which was a shock to everyone, since he had political experience. Experienced none of it. Well, no political experience, I should say. And Hillary had a ton of it. And America's purple, so it could go either way in Arizona, especially considering that it's a red wave year and Biden is unpopular. Now let's talk about the Senate race, but on the Republican side. The GOP field for this primary is crowded. I don't see Roe v. Wade having as much of an impact here, as abortion is a state, not federal, issue now, given Roe v. Wade's overturning. The GOP would not be wise to campaign on a nationwide abortion ban. Given that senators are a federal level position, and the most important issues to Americans are federal level issues, think the economy, inflation, immigration, and this is a red wave year, but it could go either way since Arizona is pretty purple. Candidates include Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich, Florida Power businessman Jim Lamone, President of the Field Foundation and Chief Operating Officer of the Field Capital, Blake Masters, who has Trump's endorsement, Nick McGuire, retired U.S. Air Force Major General and former Adjutant General of the Arizona National Guard, and Justin Olson, member of the Arizona Corporation Commission. Given the polls and Trump's endorsement, it's likely Blake Masters will win the primary. He also has the endorsement of ex-National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, ex-Germany Ambassador Richard Grenell, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn, Tucker Carlson, Matt Gaetz, and Jim Banks all are major GOP names. Mark Brnovich, though, has the endorsement of Sean Hannity, a Fox News host, and Mark Levin, an author and another conservative talk show host. Blake Masters is an outsider, while Mark Brnovich isn't. Another thing that Republicans like in a candidate. Mark Kelly is the incumbent senator and the only Democrat running, so obviously he will be the nominee. He was elected from the special election triggered by John McCain's death. This election could go either way, considering Arizona as a purple state. I lean more towards Masters defeating Mark Kelly, given it's a red wave year and the most important issues to Americans are federal issues. Well, there you have it, my overview of the Arizona governor and Senate races. Please don't forget to like this vid and subscribe to my channel.